Hey guys, this is We Live Jeep, and today I'm going to be installing some LED lights for the interior and for the gauge cluster. I got these lights from a place called OneWayLight. They sell all kinds of interior LED sets for the interior of the 84 to 96 Jeep Cherokees and also the 97 to 01 Jeep Cherokees. It's a pretty reasonable price. You can get a whole entire gauge cluster set for $30, or you can also get the interior light set, which includes things like the dome lights, for another $30. And I got both, and there's 3 different colors you can get for the gauge cluster. There's a green, a green, a blue, and a white. I think it is. I'm going to be showing you guys all 3 and showing the install of these for you. So here you go. You got the green set, the white set, the blue set, and this is the interior white. In the interior, they only sell in white. The gauges is the only ones that have for multiple colors. Sorry for the wind. There's a lot of wind right now. So, this is turn indicators for the gauge. You can do different colors. I got green for the turn signal indicators. This is for the gauge, not the actual turn lights. For the gauge, I got green for that, green LEDs, and I got blue for the high beams. I got the 3 different colors I'll be showing you for the interior. I'll show you those tonight once I get them installed, but for right now I'm just going to go show you the install. And then this is the white LED for the interior. And this is for the overhead console. I'll be installing these in the 84 to 06 model Jeep Cherokee. And I've got the interior overhead console as well as the dome light. And the only thing I won't be installing is the visor lights, because I do not have the lights in the visor, but I'll be showing the footwell lights, the lights for the climate control, the lights for the gauge, and I might be missing something, but that's what I'll be installing. So the first thing we will do is, I guess, the interior overhead lights. So here's what's inside the interior set. It's actually pretty well organized. So you have your glove box light, courtesy floor light, cargo lamp, overhead console lamp, and your visor and mirrors, which I don't have the visor, so I won't be installing these. And but here's what they look like. They seem to be very well made, good quality. So the first thing we'll be installing is the cargo lamp, which is this one right here, and that will be going right here. So to install that, simply just remove this right here, this little cover. It's got some bugs in it. If you look, there's 2 tabs and 2 clips on there. There's a cargo lamp. You can see there's 2 rings on there, and those got to go around those little tabs. So you got to pull those little tabs open, pull the light off. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. Alright, so there's the old light. See, it has the 2 little ring tabs on there. So here's the new light. You're just going to stick it back through those tabs. Alright, so there it is installed. You can see the 2 little tabs I was talking about. You just bend them open, install them. Then you just take your plastic cover, pop it back on. Install the overhead console. If you look, there's a little clip on there. So you want to pry with a screwdriver on the back side of this button, and it'll pop out, and then that'll let you get to the bulb. And for the front, it's kind of got a little lip it sits on. You pull that out as well. This is the first time I've taken it out. There you go. And you can see it has 2 little teeth on there to hold it on there. So get those two little teeth slid out, and there's your switch, and you can change the bulb. Here are the new bulbs for the overhead console, and those will slide in. Alright guys, so once you get it out, that little clip, the whole light just slides off. So you can get some room, and then you want to wiggle the bulb out from there. You can probably just slide it out. But you can see it sliding out. And there is the bulb. So here's your new bulb. And you're going to want to slide that in. Make sure you have it the right facing way, because you look, the LEDs are on one side of the bulb. Alright, so there it is put in. You slide it in. Then you're going to take your bulb and push it back on. Just like that. And there it is installed. And there's what it looked like before. So you're going to repeat that step for the back 2 lights. And you're also going to repeat it for the front 2 lights. Just to give you guys an idea of what this looks like during the day. That's what they look like. They seem to be a lot brighter, a lot cleaner looking. To do the glove box, open up the glove box and you feel behind here, you can feel the bulb. It's just one small bulb. You don't even have to take much apart. You just pull on it and you have to wiggle it back and forth. There's your old bulb. Then you're going to put your new bulb in to replace. And once again, it uses that kind of slide terminal, so you're just going to slide that in there. Now this bulb does not appear to be directional, so I don't think it matters what side you put it in on, because it's got LEDs on both sides. Now if you want to, you can take those 2 Phillips screwdrivers off on the top. Try to make it a little easier, but I don't think it's really necessary. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 screws off the top. Alright guys, so to take this light out, there's 2 Phillips screws on the sides right here. Now, this light can slide forward and backwards because it's made to adjust, so when you close the glove box, it presses that button, and that's what turns the light off. You see this button right here. It's spring activated, and that's what turns the light off whenever you open and close the glove box. Just make sure you readjust, because these screws, once you loosen them, this whole mechanism will slide back and forth. So just adjust it once you get these put back in, so it turns off the light. You don't want it to drain your battery. That's another thing about these lights, is they use a lot less power than your old lights. Alright, so I ended up unplugging the little mechanism. It's just one little plug right there. It plugs in right there. And then you just gotta slide it in there. It's a little bit tough getting in there, but it goes in fine. And then you just plug it back in, screw it back together, make sure you adjust it like I said, and then it should be good. Alright, I plugged it in, and I mean, this thing is like blinding me as I look at it. You can see how bright it is. I mean, it even makes a difference in the day, a little bit in here, making some light. So it's pretty dang bright. So. Right, we got your footwheel lights. You can see it glowing right there in the corner. And those, once again, will just slide out. Here's what the replacements look like. Once again, they have the little slider on there. So what you're gonna do, you just pull on it, wiggle it, and there's your old lights. Here's your new ones. So that's it installed. Now, one thing I will say is if you have it one way, it won't work. If you have it the other way, it will. So make sure you have it the right way. Well, at least for me, that's how it was. But you can tell they're a lot brighter. You can even see it even lit up a little bit of the area. So here's the difference between the two. Now you just got to do the driver's side, and you're done with the interior light setup. That'll be everything. Got the rear lights. You can see they're on because I have the door open. Then you got your front lights. Got your glove box light. You got your footwheel lights, I think, and then you got your visor lights. Which, if you have the visor, I don't. So you can put those in, and that's all you got to do. Then we'll do the gauge lights. Now we're going to install the interior, the gauge cluster interior lights, and this includes the gauge cluster climate control, transmission transfer case, rocker switch, high beam, and turn indicators. And I'll be installing a blue set, white set, and a green set. I'm only going to show you the white set for the install, and then but I'll show you what the blue set and the green set look like after installing. But they're all going to be the same way for how you install them. So we'll go ahead and get started. So here you have the climate control, the transmission and transfer case, the rocker switches, the gauge cluster, the high beam indicator, and the turn signals. So now we'll be installing those. Alright, to install these, to be a little more in depth, you're gonna need a couple tools and maybe a Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to take the gauge cluster out. I'm not sure how you change these lights. These are the rocker switch lights. There's little lights in there. And then we're also going to change the driver and transfer case light. What else? And the turn signals, which is also indigo lights. And we'll also be changing the light in here that lights us up. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is, well, we'll start with these rocker switch lights. Change those. I'm just going to pull up on this. You might need a flathead to get around it, but mine's loose enough I can get it out. And should come off like that. And you're going to want to pull your shifter off for that. Now to pull your shifter off, you're going to put your key in, and you're going to want to pull the shifter back to probably maybe drive or third, first, second, whatever's easiest, and you're just basically just going to yank on that shifter, and it'll pull off eventually. But you just got to give it a good yank. That shifter will pop off. Now I got a custom shifter. I got a little grenade shifter, so I can't show you that, but it's fairly simple, and there's lots of videos on it, so if you need to. So you just yank on that. Once you get that yanked off, then you'll pry this little bezel up that slides over it, and there's your first bulb. It's right there. And that just simply slides down, just like that. It might even fall out. And it's just a little bulb like that. And once again, that just pulls out. Maybe a little wiggling. And there you go. Pull it out with one hand. And the transfer case can be the same way, except we're gonna pull on that. It just snaps into place. Once you get it popped out, slide it over, and you can see the bulb right there. Right there. And that one's gonna work the same way. You're gonna want to pull it out. It's kind of hard to get to. If you need to, you can loosen up the console, remove it, but I don't think that's necessary. You just see if you can reach in there and pull it out. And you're gonna replace that with this one right here. This is the trans and transfer case light. All right, so there you go. You just literally just slide it in there, and to give you an idea as how much brighter this one is, I mean, you can see it. That's the new one, and that's the old one. And just from a distance, this one is way brighter. And so that was a real easy install. You just literally it just slides in and out, just like that. All you gotta do is slide it in, and you the transfer case light is the same way, just a little harder to reach. But once you get it in there, it should work good, just like that. So transfer case, a little pocket you kind of gotta get to get it in there, but you should be able to get it. Alright guys, I ended up having to loosen up this console because I couldn't really get that bulb out. So there's a screw right there, there's that one, and there's also that one. And 2 more screws right here and here. And this plastic piece should be able to come out. And then there should be a bracket right here. This is I have a 9701 console I usually have in here. I just put this one back in so you guys can see. It's broken, so it won't look exactly like yours. But there'll be 2 screws right here that you can't see because I have it out right now. And this is also going to look a little different, but there's 2 more screws back here. You can see where they're at. You're going to remove those 2 screws, and that should allow you to free up this console to where you can lift it up. Now you might want to move your transfer case back, maybe into neutral, and that should give you enough room, finger room, to put your hand in there, and you can pull that bulb and socket out. And then you're just going to replace that bulb with a new bulb the same way you did with the transmission shift bezel. Just slide that out and put a new one in. Then you're going to put it back together, push this back in there, and it's going to twist. It has a twist lock mechanism, and then you'll be done with your console lights. So once you get your lights installed down there and up here, then you're just going to, this one just simply slides back into this bezel like this. So simple. And then you're just going to slide that back over your shift lever, which I may need to do that first before you slide it into. So do that, and then slide this light in underneath it. There. Then you're just gonna pop this bezel back in. Make sure these little fins in this little slider where this shifter, make sure they're go in properly, because there's a little pocket for them. It slides in the back. Otherwise, your shifter won't line up properly. And then just pop that back in. Same thing with the driver, except you don't have that those fins to worry about. That just pops in like that. Then double check them. Wow, that is bright. So that even makes a difference in the daytime. You can see it lights them up. And it's light outside right now too. So see, my other stuff you can't even tell when I turn it on. My dash. But this, big difference. So we'll see the before and after of this as well. My gauge you can't see when it's day or night. Alright, now to install the gauge cluster and also the climate control and rocker switches. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you'll have some screws underneath here. Well, first thing is, if you have a radio like mine, aftermarket radio, you'll have a little bezel like this around the radio, as you can kind of see, and that needs to come off first. See that little bezel? There, now you should be able to slide this over. Also, I got a CB radio, so you remove my mic so it doesn't get hung up during the removal and install. Then finally we got Phillips screws, one right there, and you also got one right there, one right here, and you should have one I think right there, and then the rest is held in with clips. Now mine doesn't have it because I think it fell off or got lost, but there's a little bezel that goes underneath the steering wheel right here, and that I think it just snaps in. You'll probably need to remove that unless you don't have it, like mine's missing. Then you're gonna need to take that out first as well. And this whole little plastic frame should come out. Alright, so once you get this 4 screws, you can see this is free. So you're just gonna pull it off. It'll kind of get caught up in the top right here. You just keep pulling it, it'll come out. Just like that. And that's the whole frame. And you just lay that off to the side. Now, you can see there's 4 screws. Mine's missing one right there. But there's one right there, one there, one there, one here, and one there. And that'll pull this whole gauge cluster out so we can replace the bulbs which are behind it. Now, once you pull that out, there's going to be a plug behind this panel right here that you need to unplug. And there's going to be another blue plug behind this whole entire gauge cluster you'll need to unplug. Once you unplug those 2, you can pull the gauge cluster out and we'll replace those bulbs. Alright, you may need to remove this little switch panel right here to get to that screw. Same goes for this switch panel. You may need to remove it in order to get to that screw. You might have to take this panel off. I don't think you need to take this one off, but this one I think you need to take off just so you can get around that get that clip around there, because it's gonna hit right there when you pull it out. So go ahead and remove this. You're gonna have one screw over here, and it will slide out to the left, this whole panel. All right, so once you got that panel out of the way, then you should be able to pull this out. Now, if you look right here, see the first set of wires? Those got a little pinch tabs. So you're gonna pull those tabs, and it'll come out. Alright, so it's out. Here's the 2 plugs we're talking about. There's this one, and you gotta pinch these 2 tabs. And then there's this plug right here, and you gotta pull this little blue clip right here. Now, once you get it out, turn it around, you can see all the little light switches. Here's the switches. Like, for example, all you gotta do to replace these is you're gonna go through each one, and you're gonna go through and you're gonna twist them, and you pull it out, and there's your bulbs. You're gonna replace all those bulbs. Now you want to keep in mind which ones are your high beam bulbs, which ones are your regular bulbs, so you can make sure you put the right ones in. And so you can look on here. See, there's your high beams in the middle. Is that little dot in the middle, and then you got your blinker, your turn indicator. So like here's a turn indicator. Here's the high beams. Here's your other turn indicators. So you want to make sure those are the specific color that you ordered. So whether you got green or blue or white, or whatever it is you got, just make sure you put those in the right places. So you're going to go through and switch all these bulbs out, and then we'll reinstall. Alright guys, so once you get them installed, simply just like this, get them all plugged in. They're the slide terminals, you just slide them out, slide them back in, and this you just twist it to remove. These do not have lights for them actually, so these just use the factory style lights. Which you don't really need LED for them, because I mean the only time you use it is really a 4-wheel drive if you get a check engine light or something like that. So these aren't going to be on constantly. So the LEDs aren't included in these. And then you'll just reinstall this gauge cluster, and then you install your rocker switch lights and your climate control lights. Alright guys, so while you have the gauge cluster out, you look behind the rocker switches. My package, Cherokee doesn't have it. It's a lower package, but this is where your lights will be for these indicators. It'll be right here, right there. Now my wiper switch does have it, so you see the plug right there. If you remove that plug, there's your bulb. And once you remove that bulb, you can put your rocker switch right in. These are just a simple pull and remove bulb. Take your rocker switches bulb, these right here. There you go. Now put that back in your rocker switch, and your rocker switches are done. You're going to repeat that for all your bulbs. So now you're going to figure out which bulbs you have. So see, I have the wiper bulb, but I don't have the cigarette lighter bulb or the headlight bulb. Or at least I don't think. They could be burnt out for all I know. Alright, now if you're like me and you have only one switch that actually has the light and the rocker switch, you got all these extra bulbs. Well, these bulbs will actually fit in these smaller lights. So whatever ones you use the most, like you use your four-wheel drive a lot, and you can put it in your part-time four-wheel drive light. You can actually look at the front. It's kind of hard to see, but you can actually kind of see which bulb is where. So there's your part-time. You can put one there. Maybe a low washer or seat belt, or if you're like all the other Jeepers out there, you can use your check engine light quite a bit, and then put an LED light there. So you got these three, so you can go ahead and put them in there wherever you want. And they're miniature bulbs and they'll actually fit, so there you go. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do for the climate control is remove the 4 Phillips screws on each side of it. Alright, so once you get the 4 screws removed, we're going to pull it out. Figure out where these lights connect to. I know there's a rod or a cable or something that this uses. I'm not sure what all goes into this. Alright, there's a light. Right there. Figure out how to remove it. Twist it. And it pops out like that. And we'll replace that with that bulb we got. So just slide it out, remove it, put it back in. Put those 4 screws back in, and then we'll be done. Alright guys, so the gauge cluster is now fully installed. Remember when I showed the video of it earlier, turning them on and off during the day, you can't tell the difference. But with these, you can actually tell the difference. If you look, you can actually see they light up quite a bit, even at daytime. Same thing with the rocker switch. And the climate control. Climate control, you can't really tell during the day, but I put the extra bulb in the 4-wheel drive, so that lights up much brighter now. The extra light I had. So now everything's installed, and I'll show you the night footage in just a little bit once it gets dark. And guys, I'll also show you the high beams, much more noticeable. So is the turn signals. And one thing I will say is, if you look at my left turn signal, it does not work. The instructions say that if the bulbs won't turn on when you plug them in, that means they need to be rotated 180 degrees. So I'm going to rotate that one 180 degrees, see if it works. You might want to go through and check all your other bulbs, make sure they turn on, and rotate them 180 degrees if they don't. Alright, so I rotated it. You can see it works now. So. Alright guys, so the lights are all installed, and it is nighttime, and these are really dang bright. See the gauge cluster and everything. It gives you a whole lot more room, more light to see in here. Now I've got ZJ seats, so they're black, so they're not going to reflect the light as well as the tan seats that you would usually have. But as you can see, there's a lot more light in here than there was before. See them all installed. Looks nice. This is what it looked like before the LEDs. See, there's not a whole lot of lighting, but I guess it's enough. Unless you want to upgrade. I think the biggest difference is in the gauges. Alright guys, these are the blue lights. Those are what those look like. The white were installed before, and here is the green. Hold on. And these are the green ones. So you got the white, the blue, and the green. And that'll be all. That's everything. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe. Keep in mind, I got these from One Way Lighting. You can find him at his website, One Way Lighting, or actually it's One Way Light, not One Way Lighting. One Way Light. Find him at his website is OneWayLight.com. He's also on Cherokee Forum, which is where I found him, and he got it for 84 to 96 Jeep Cherokees, and he's also got it for the 97 to 01 Jeep Cherokees. And that's with the overhead console or without it, so depending on your setup. Thanks for watching.